welcome Mr. David Sanchez. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Ralph.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, man, you talk about a leader and talk about things in leadership. You have got quite the storied history. I currently serve with you with the Carolina Panthers. You're the current manager of the entertainment and events there, but you've got a great history in professional sports and leadership. Give us a little bit of a rundown on what you've seen and who you've worked with.
That goes way back into, gosh, I started my career on court, kind of like you started, and you are with the Panthers as a performer for the LA Clippers back in the day. So I was part of their promo team, tumbling and stunted, and that's really what opened up the doors for me. Is I would get in there and grind, and that opened up, I guess, my persona to the people behind the scenes, and I got an opportunity that opened up in 2005, where I did my first show with a company called E2K out of Northern California. They invited me out to be part of the game entertainment, produce the halftime show for the first regular season game played out of the U.S. in 2005. Which was
So 15 years you've been at this. And the thing I thought was fascinating, in addition to just working with the regular season stuff, you've also worked with like the Pro Bowls and, helped with pregame and half times, and of course, most of us have seen some of these things as an audience member, but being there and working on it, from a leadership perspective, what would be something you would want to share with the audience, that you experienced as a leader working on those things and what you saw, or the people that you worked with, or the people that worked for you?
Really, what I've noticed in that is everybody wants to be part of something bigger than themselves. And when you're the person in charge, nobody wants to feel like they're doing anything for you. They want to be part of it and doing it with you. And when I think you lead with that in your mind, it makes it a seamless process. Everyone enjoys the environment. The stress is always high, but if you can keep that, everyone will go to bat for you and go to war with you on these large scale events. And I felt that that's been my key to, and when I say success, is that everybody's having a good time enjoying what they're doing. And that's when I feel that I get the full reward and the event was a success.
Well, and I can tell you, working with you personally, how well you do that. And it's not easy. I equate what you do to what I did in the military almost as special forces, where 2% is that hectic, crazy, got to be on time. Everybody's got to be on their mark. And then the 98% is the preparing and getting ready and setting up and tearing down. And how you manage the people through that, I think, is fascinating. But the pressure and the stress that comes with all of that, I think, is also something that you manage well. So talk about that a little bit more, about how you're able to deal with that, and especially how you're able to help others deal with it.
As when you're on top and in charge, the more prepared you are, and that's really key to it. The more prepared you are and the more information you give to your team, again, that's really what sets you up for success. Anyone can say that's kind of the no-brainer part of it. Like, you have to do that due diligence ahead of time. Because, granted, in certain situations that information doesn't get to you right away, and you have to think on your toes and figure out how you can give out as much information that you have at the moment and keep everyone on their toes to kind of be ready to take whatever task comes ahead. I'm sorry, I think I kind of strayed away from that.
No, you're spot on. What you're talking about is dotting the I's and crossing the T's. One of the things that the young guys who come onto a submarine wonder is, why do we do these drills every day, every day? Well, the reason we do them is because when the situation actually happens, there's chemicals that flow through you that are going to be different in real life than in drilling. And so being prepared means you know what to do, but what you just touched on is really important. And that's the improvising, because it is live television most of the time. And sadly, things don't go exactly like you'd like them to go all the time. And so being prepared, but being able to improvise is important. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Absolutely. Yeah, that metaphor, you got to, be a duck. They're on top of the water. It seems like they're just coasting along, and at the bottom, you're paddling your feet like crazy. You teach your team to do that, and they'll, game face. Whenever you set foot on stage or your event, you're game mode all the time. No one needs to know what's going on behind the scenes. But as long as you give your team enough ammunition to react and recover, no one will ever know.
Yeah, I like that. And what's really cool is there's been a theme in these interviews with the leaders that I've been interviewing, and that is content and clarity. And you can't give enough to your team. Another question I have is, when you think of leadership, you personally, what are some of the things you think about? Like, what are some of the attributes of a leader?
The key points to me are someone that can bring you into the project and make you feel value in it, not like you're just, a pawn in this big old game. You are contributing. But yeah, that's really what stands out to me in a leader, is bringing people into the process and making them feel part of the process. And also, if someone comes to you with a problem, how they react to that problem, whether they react to it with positive encouragement to whoever your teammate that's coming to you with that. Well, what's going on? What can we do? Not what can't we do?
Right. Well, and one of the things that you have, and you and I have talked about this off camera, that I admire, that I really aspire to, and that is, you have really strong interpersonal skills. The way you communicate with people, to your point, and allowing them to feel like they're part of the program, at the same time giving them that information, that clarity that you're talking about, but also letting them know how important it is and how accountable they are. Where did you get that? Like, how did you learn those interpersonal skills?
Yeah, I want to say it's probably from my years of being in front of the camera and taking direction and wanting to satisfy my directors and leaders, and knowing that I like to back people up, just like you, Ralph. Like, I feel strongest when I've helped my boss do a good job, and then everyone gets the praise, like, we did a great job. I think that self-fulfillment, that's where it really comes from, and I want to share that with everybody. So keeping it human, and also that comes from starting at the bottom and then working for some people that have not given that. And it's like, I'm not just someone who's running around throwing t-shirts. I'm a human being, and I'm part of this. I never want anyone to feel like someone looks down on them, regardless of whatever the job is. And I think having experienced that is something that comes of value that I can pass on, because I don't want anybody else to feel that way.
That's very genuine. And again, working with you, that's what I see. I see that genuineness. I see that interpersonal, but I also see that leader. I see someone who knows he's got a task. I mean, what you do at the professional sporting events, when it comes to the preparation and the production, I mean, that's no easy task. Plus, you have a lot of these very outgoing A-type personalities that's working with you. So, talk a little bit about that, about how much fun that is, but about how much it's almost like herding cats, if you will.
Yeah, but it's probably the most fun and entertaining cats you'll ever have to herd, so it doesn't make it very hard. And that's the thing, you let people shine at what they're good at, and you lay out the task and everyone's on board, it's going to be easy. Like, everyone wants to, what's the common thing there? Everyone wants to have fun, right? So if you can herd those cats in that fun direction, it's easy. It's like pets, for example. I'm not saying people are pets, but I have a dog. He won't do anything unless I can get him excited to do it. And it's the same thing with working with people on projects that are very stressful. You highlight the fun part, and it makes the rest of it kind of easy. I guess easier to handle.
Right. Well, it does to you. See, and that's what I want this audience to hear and understand and work on, because it is easy to you. I see it. I've seen it for the last 2 years firsthand, you know, how you are able to motivate and inspire, but at the same time, you have this great attention to detail and, you know, and accountability. And I appreciate you and how you do that. But in my opinion, the reason you have that success is because you have those, you know, abilities. And I just think that's wonderful. What would be one thing you would tell folks? Where do you get your inspiration from? Like, how does David Sanchez get inspired?
First, I just want to thank you for that compliment, Ralph. You're always so complimentary. And I mean, you're looking to a mirror because those are the same things you have and you do. So my inspiration, it really comes from doing things in a high-paced environment with zero margin for error. It's crazy. Like you think, and you don't want to fail. So I love walking that line of, gosh, if something goes wrong, everybody's going to see it. And it's just, it gives me, it's an adrenaline rush. That's where I get my inspiration partially. The other is I love the people that I work with, and we get to share the success and the feelings of completing these tasks and events. And I love being part of a team in supporting my director or lead, project lead, event lead, whoever, and building people up, lifting them up. Again, it really just comes back to people. I love to share good moments with people and events. And that's really my inspiration. I love doing it. I love hearing the crowd reaction when you do something well, and the oohs and ahs. It's addicting to me, but that's really it in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I will echo that. In closing, sadly, we are out of time. I can tell you when you and I worked together and we did the celebration about the history of the team, and I was able to be a part of that and actually got to work with you firsthand. I saw how excited you were, but I also saw how excited you were about, you know, what I was doing and how well that all went. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time today. I know, you know, everything's crazy right now with what's going on. So really appreciate you. Appreciate all that you do. Looking forward to your success going forward.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.